A woman raped by the footballer David Goodwillie has lodged a formal request to bring a private criminal prosecution against him. Rape charges were dropped against the former Scotland player 15 years ago, but in 2017 a civil court found he and another man, David Robertson, were rapists. It could be the first private criminal prosecution in more than 40 years. Well, Hope Webb is here to explain. Hope, how does this work legally?
Well, a private prosecution is when an individual attempts to prosecute rather than the Crown, and legal aid was granted to the complainer Denise Claire back in February. And at the time, the Scottish Government did say that that money could be used towards legal fees with a ceiling of £2,500. Now, we know that the Criminal Bill of Letters, and that's a legal document used in Scotland to allow a private citizen to apply to the High Court for permission to bring a private criminal prosecution, was lodged on Friday, so we do know that. And Thomas Ross KC has agreed to represent Denise Claire, who has waived her anonymity, and he spoke to me earlier today.
She's certainly been incredibly determined, and when she came to me and the rest of the legal team and asked whether there was any legal remedy which hadn't been explored, then this essentially was the only avenue left, and she was very keen to follow it through to its natural conclusion.
I hope this has already been a long legal process for all involved.
Yeah, it really has. And just to remind viewers, Denise Claire claims that David Robertson and David Goodwillie raped her at a flat in Armadale in West Lothian back in January 2021. Later that year, the Crown Office did drop rape charges against the pair because there was insufficient evidence to prosecute them. A civil court, like you mentioned, back in 2017, did rule that footballer Goodwillie and his former teammate raped Denise Claire. They were both ordered to pay £100,000 worth of damages. But in a recent podcast which David Goodwillie appeared in, he said he wanted a trial. He said, and I'm going to quote, "I don't want to be known as a rapist. That is why I want to fight and clear my name." He went on to say, in his own words, the truth. He wants the truth to come out. Now, it's important to say, before this all goes ahead, 3 judges must now decide to allow this private prosecution.
OK, Hope, many thanks indeed. Now, coming up on the 7th,